Good morning. Oh, who was that masked man? It's Reverend Mike. All right, that changes the levels a little bit, eh, Evan? So, Angel, maybe you can just take a look at that Facebook camera there and see if we're online. So, welcome. Whether you're joining us on Facebook, hello, how are you? How's your mom? Is your dad working? And we have here Reverend Nancy Woods, our assistant minister. Yes, we have a special treat of Miss Angela Carol Brown, her last Sunday with us, and we're delighted to have her here. Ken's taking the day off, and so Jason is filling in for him, and we're grateful for that. And Michael and Evan are in the back keeping us straight through the little streamcast here. And we have all of you, so welcome. If this is your first time, we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. My name is Reverend Michael McMorrow, and we're coming to you from the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California. So we do a little thing that we like to kick off with here. We're going to take a deep, conscious breath and release. And in that release, we're just allowing ourselves to surrender to this eternal now moment, to gather ourselves and claim this time to be together as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Now, fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living through sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle we light for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center, whether it's here physically, whether with you online, or right here within our own hearts. And as we light the healing candle today, we remember all who have fallen to this disease that's affecting us all right now, for their families, and for the families of anyone who's fallen prematurely.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
So, join me as we breathe within and just feel the presence of our heart from our heart. That there is within each one of us a true flame of love, joy, peace, and harmony. That flame is that divine presence saying, I'm here. It is saying to us that in you I am well pleased. So acknowledging this and embracing this idea that the spiritual presence of life is in each one of us. Knowing that is knowing that we can allow it to come forth as our consciousness. And we do so in this moment. Let it express its presence in the words, in the thoughts, in the music, in everything that unfolds in this hour that we are together. And as I rejoice and know its presence is guided and directed every aspect of the service, I rejoice that it is given to us by giving through us. The ability to understand and appreciate these lives that we are living. To understand that it is not limited by the physical presence. And we see through it all that is going on into that space in life where the love and the joy and the peace is in existence. And we not only see it out in ourselves, but we see it in every being that we know, every being that is before us. And as we just rejoice in this idea that the spiritual presence of life gives to us by giving through us, we allow it to take our form that we have embraced on this plane of action and express itself, share itself, create that which we seek to give and be and express, create the good that we want to experience. And it is with deep-seated acceptance that I open my heart and mind to welcome each one of you to join me in knowing that this is a truth that we can live, that it is our choice. And I am so grateful that I know choice today. And it is with an open heart that I welcome you to know these truths that have been placed into a law that is constantly saying yes to us, that it is activated and in form and in expression right here, right now, in this moment. So together we can say thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen, and so it is. Good morning. You know, some ways, if I just stay with the humanistic thing, I'll say I come with a heavy heart. But I'm here because I'm coming from the spiritual presence of life. And I know its power and its presence. And I know sometimes it's hard to grasp that concept. And you know, I've gone through some ups and downs this week. as I watch what's going on around me. And before I share with you that this thing that is happening for us. But it's moments like this week that I struggle with it a little bit. I came up in the South, and I realized that what I witnessed was that once again, that feeling, and that old thing that I have worked very diligent to let go of. The anger that wanted to take over. The hate that made me want to destroy somebody else. But then I remembered that was what I learned to let go of. That was what I worked so hard to not do. Not to become what I thought I was fighting against. And to step into an honest, sincere way of being compassionate. Not being sympathy, not empathy, but compassionate. In the sense that the spirit of life loves us all, no matter where we are, what we do, or how we done. God sometimes is hard to embrace. But it's necessary. I know and understand that is where the change must come. And I am embracing it because I realize that when I sit in my house in my comfort, with my comforts of life, and know that there are people that don't have that. When I sense the freedom, I'm not feeling like any man or any human being is in charge of my peace and harmony and way of living. But I see others still struggling with that because we have given our power outside of ourselves. So today, I said that I just want to tell you about spirit. That spirit is in us. It did give me peace. I know that when I let go of these ideas and step into this peace, I want to, somehow it feels so good to be there, to understand and appreciate what it is and how it is, to know that I have choice today, that I have the ability to create life anew in myself. And it's a little work doing it, but I'm doing it. But I really feel like I was sitting there this week trying to figure out, what can I do to get the others to understand that they don't have to live like that anymore? And then I decided myself is to stop living like that yourself. Create that sense and that peace so strongly within myself. And I know it's a big, powerful trip that I'm saying, but I know that if I can get there, I can give it and share it with every man all over the world. I know it exists. I am living it at times. I have touched it and I have embraced it. It is freedom. But turn to it. Love it. Embrace it. I've been where those people in the street are. I've walked in those shoes. But I've had a taste of what Martin Luther King was telling us. I've had a taste of what Gandhi demonstrated for us. I had a sense and a vision as and all of a sudden his name went out of me. This Mandela lived. We all have that within us. They demonstrated what it is to make a shift in consciousness and experience. Let's step into it together. Let's learn how to do it. This isn't about one or two people. This is about all of us. And to that extent, we can change absolutely anything to the highest and the best good for all. I know this is the truth. I am absolutely sure it's the truth. God, let's reach for it. Please join me. I don't care what religion you are, what color you are, what race you belong to, what ethnic culture you come from. Do it your way, but reach for that power that is within you that will free your soul from the physicality of mankind. And thank you for letting me share that.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to have Miss Angela Carroll Brown with us here today.
Thank you. Good morning. I know it doesn't seem like there's anything wonderful going on in the world right now, and as spiritual beings, it's imperative at this moment in time to bring something wonderful into knowing. Oh, something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. All this love inside, we can let it shine. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Oh, something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, oh, something is happening to us right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening to us right here, right now. Something wonderful.
Very nice.
Excellent message. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. So, thank you. So, would you say with me the principles that we follow? We believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal too and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
Well, Reverend Nancy, thanks for giving my talk for me. So let me just start by talking about opening up physically for this place, what it's going to look like. So this is a very thoughtful process. I have been watching specifically what the infection rates are for our area. They are still rising, as are the death rates. And until those start to go down, I do not feel comfortable bringing you all together. I just don't think it's prudent. I don't think it's smart. And if even one of you were to get sick, I just feel awful about that. So I'd feel bad enough if you catch it out there somewhere, and I'd be mortified if something broke out here. So that is not from a place of fear, but of taking precautions. And we've done a lot of things here now that we would never have imagined doing up until now. We would have never imagined watching Sunday service for a small place like ours on YouTube, and yet here we are. We'd never imagine ourselves doing classes on Zoom, but yet here we are. So we've just kind of taken this gigantic leapfrog in technology. All of us have had to come together because we had to. We have to. So I think it's also interesting to notice, because I'm going to be speaking about some difficult things today, because I feel like it's my job to do that, because I'm an old straight white guy. And I feel like it needs to be guys like me and who look like me who need to speak up. But before I get into all of that, it's interesting when you go to look at the data, because I'm a big data guy, that it is minorities who are getting hit in our area, not nationally. You can look it up on covid.org for the state of California. In our area, most of the deaths are from Latino men right now. So, and then of course we've been watching the numbers within the African American community. So there are many reasons for that. Probably I would guess the number one reason is because they're putting themselves at risk so that we can enjoy life safely at home. That would be my guess, but I don't know. I just wanted to point it out, that people are dying. This is serious, and until that arc starts to come down, we're going to keep doing it this way. Now, when we come back together, things are going to be a lot different, right? It's going to be a lot different. The chairs are going to be spread out, and you're going to need to be much more mindful when you get here. So you just need to remember that you're no longer in your living room, but you're going to be in church. So please don't show up in your house coat with your coffee and curlers. That's not going to work, all right? So, yeah, because I think we all have got a little used to watching online. Yeah, okay, so the talk title today is These Hands. It's the 5th Sunday in May. We've been looking at this whole theme for the month. Are you still laughing over there? This whole theme of the month, which has been listen to your heart. And now, oh my gosh, look what we get. By the way, before I go on, I want to thank all of you for the prayers and support for myself, my family, my mother this week. I was out in Nevada. It's like an alien country out there. I'm just letting you know. They are itching to open up and get the casinos going. People need to get back to work and so forth. So we're just going to hold them in the truth of knowing that their immune systems are strong and that they're building immunity in community in however they do it, and that they just do things mindfully. But I do want, my mother is holding her own, and and then some, and I just know it's for the prayer and support, and she just expressed deep gratitude for you all, as I do, as we explore this idea of listen to your heart. So all this by saying I didn't pay any attention to the news. I step away from the news for 1 week, and the whole world goes insane. I mean, it was bad enough that this young man was killed in Georgia, right? But, that looked like, it's a one-off. It's Georgia, vigilantes. And yet we have this situation now with George Floyd. And I had no idea that there was all this stuff going on. I mean, I knew that there had been another young black man, well, young to me, black man who had been shot. And my mom and I both are just like, oh my God, just heartsick. Heartsick that we're still dealing with this stuff. And yet, we know as well that my life, our life, is the life of the divine made manifest. Spirit works through me in this world. That these hands are the hands of God. So what is mine to do? Listening to my heart, what is mine to do? What actions am I to take to live my call and my life's purpose? There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Now, I believe this today. I know this to be so because I've proved it to myself to be so. And it gives me tremendous confidence to move forward in my life, a life that I understand today to be the vehicle through which the creative impulse of the infinite mind of the universe itself demonstrates itself by means of me and by means of everyone else also. That it's this co-creative consciousness expressing together. Now, I was not for myself as an individual, I was not always confident that this was so, because I believed that I was a sinner and that I fell short of the glory of God, and there was nothing I could do about that. Now, I started off confident, all right, in my 20s. I was a licensed contractor, and I had some building sites, all this before my 23rd birthday in Washington. Actually, I think before my 22nd. I had arrived. I was living a charmed life. I had read Real Estate for High Yield and Profit, and I was living into it. And then the 80s hit. And I had a family with an infant son and no work for months. And that winter of 82, without spuds, volunteer potatoes in the garden, and Jimmy Carter's cheese, for those of you who remember that, Jimmy Carter's cheese, and firewood from the windfall profits tax, we'd have gone hungry and froze. And you know what? I took it all on myself. I felt it was my fault, for I was a sinner and fell short of the glory of God. And to be 26 and to feel like a failure is a terrible burden. And then to be told that if you just give your money to the most wealthy among us, they will invest it, those benefits, they will invest it wisely and create all this activity, and the benefits will trickle down on all of you. And you poor broke-ass know-nothings, all the ships will rise. And those boats did rise eventually. And of course, I was broke enough to hope, like millions of others, that it was true. And there was a social safety net, but it was just enough to keep people fed and their spirits low, and did not address systemic issues in the system itself, because there was so much judgment on why people were there to begin with. Because the truth of the matter is that there is a worship of wealth in this country that looks down on the poor, and that it's their lot in life, and they should just buck up and deal with it. Now, I bring this up because I relate to what so many people in our country right now are going through. You know, I never took a food stamp. I never qualified for unemployment, which, you know, you couldn't live on after Jimmy Carter anyway. So I remember, and I know what it feels like to have to take a job for less than what I'm worth. I know what it is to be a frustrated employer, trying to get more work out of my employees. I know what it feels like to be resentful towards employers and employees, the yuppies, the privileged with their perfect kids and their new cars and their perfect wives and their perfect life. And me with my sunburnt face and calloused hands with my face stuck to the window, look from the outside looking in, resentful of all those in the club of success and jealous of anyone who jumped the line ahead of me. Now, it felt like I was on a track from the old track and field days where the staggers were set against me. So you've seen this track and field thing before. We would have been watching it in the Olympics. So all of everyone's starting. These staggers are 22 feet apart. It might be 22 yards, I can't remember now. But the thing is that this guy here who looks like he's getting a head start is going to end up running just as far as this guy here, because as you go further out from the center, the distance gets longer. Now, the premier spot here is the number 3 lane, and that's determined by draw. So the starter comes with his starter pistol, and you each pick a number, and everyone's hoping to get 3 of these middle lanes because you have just enough of a head start for the guys behind you to hear the footsteps, and you see the guys out ahead of you, so you're just like the greyhound chasing the rabbit. Now, if you happen to be in this lane, good for you. And then if you happen to be white and male and 6'1", then you get to move up a little bit forward. And if you didn't finish, and if you got an Ivy League education, you get to move up a little bit more. And then if you're in this lane and you're a white guy and you never finished high school, you get to come back a couple steps here. And if you had a kid before you were ready, you go back a couple more steps. And if you're African American, you're out here on this lane out here by yourself, or a Latino, you're out here by yourself, and that staggers all the way back here. And so even if you are Usain Bolt himself, you will never be able to beat a world-class athlete will never be, it is not an equal starting line. Now, people who live this way, and you figure out where you've been on that track. Now, there are outliers. I got to say, Reverend Nancy, what she didn't say is she is an outlier. Southern family, rural background, everyone managed to get an education. She became a professional. She beat the odds. And her story, there are, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of stories like that. So it is possible. But she's also not male. The fact of the matter is that all of us together now are feeling the reality of what young black males have been feeling for some time, and that is 20 to 25% unemployment. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because I know, like I said, I know what it is to feel resentful about the conditions of the world. I know firsthand. And if you had told me in those days that I was privileged, I'd have been just as mad as all those hardworking people who are working hard and underemployed are today. But you know what? Resentment didn't heal one thing in my life. It did not serve me then, any more than these resentments are serving anyone today. In fact, I would say that if you're a resentful dude the way I was, you're way back here anyway, because you got a lot of stuff to work through. You've got insecurity, and you're going to blow up at the boss, for no reason. Or you can't ask for a raise unless you get angry. Or you can't have a conversation with your wife without having a few drinks or being defensive. This is unhealed stuff. And we've all got it. There's no one wrong here. We've all got it. But resentment doesn't heal anything. It does not serve us any more than these resentments are serving anyone today. So here's what I know. A resentful heart is a hardened heart. A hardened heart cannot think about anything except its own resentful thinking. And resentful thinking shuts down the mind, making it unable to come up with that one thought that could change the whole game. Ernest Holmes said this, that we cannot enter this gate of good with a sword in our hands. And resentment is that sword. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because we have to acknowledge that people are, whether it's stop and frisk or put your hands up or someone's kneeling on your neck, we have a serious issue that is systemic in nature, and it's going to take some time to address, and we must find the will, and it's got to be people who look like me and maybe you out there who become willing to do something about it. And I'm not just talking about throwing money at it. I'm talking about our consciousness, our actions, our treasure, our time, our talent, all of it. And it's going to take, we will be planting trees for a forest we may never see. The first step in recovery is to acknowledge that there is a problem, and that the problem resides in resentful thinking. Resentful thinking about all kinds of stuff, the system, law enforcement, the endless wars, racism, global warming, government, the deep state, politicians, blacks, Hispanics, whites, women, German cars, whites, big houses, fast food, capitalism, vegans, fascist vegans. Oh my God, the absurdity of this human life that we have created together. Can we imagine a life where things are different? So we must have a new thought. We must have a couple of new thoughts. And it needs to start with the idea that there's a power for good in the universe, and I can use it. And it's getting difficult to look at my friend Salam in the eye and tell him and know this truth for his son, that this teaching that we have is available to everyone, knowing that there are systemic issues within it. Because up until now, there's been no room for social justice in our movement. There's a power for good in the universe, and I can use it. The next new thought I need to have is that I am enough. I am enough. I deserve respect because there's no one else like me. There's no one else on the planet just like me. And as I stand in my self-respect, I recognize that I am responsible for my own experience of life. And then from this conscious act of self-respect and self-responsibility, I know that I am enough just as I am. No job, job or no job. Spouse, no spouse. Partner, no partner. No car, no house. Whatever. Excuse me. Even the recognition of my fellows is not necessary for self-respect. I am enough. I am enough because I am an emanation of the divine itself. And so is everyone else. But see, when I have enough, I'm not looking over at you to see what you have, because I have enough. There's an Irish expression, enough is as good as a feast. This is what I'm talking about. This is what Dr. King ultimately came to realize, that the plight of the working poor, that the plight of the Negro was the plight of the working poor, that unless all the ships really were raised, the standard of living and poverty was addressed at a systemic level, we were going to continue to see this cycle of violence spin around and keep showing up and showing up and showing up, and here we are again. We must look around us and create a mental atmosphere in which all are welcome at the table, and then take, not enough to just sit and think about it. Religious scientists are good thinkers. We must take measurable steps for inclusion at a leadership level, in a community level, for people of all stripes, colors, and in ethnicities, except for the Irish. They're just a bunch of troublemakers and rabble-rousers. Now, this can seem like an insurmountable task because this is not easy stuff, because it requires difficult conversations. But I know that we are up to it because there is an infinite power and presence that's backing our play. And we don't have to change the whole world. We just have to change the world within ourselves. Identify the ways of prejudice within you. They're in there. And it doesn't matter what race, right, Reverend Nancy? We all have them. Notice them. Acknowledge them. You know, you do not have to be a racist to have thoughts of prejudice. You don't have to be a racist to have a racist thought. It's a thought. And a thought can be healed. But it can't be healed unless it's revealed. And boy, have we seen that these last 12 years. The ABCs of Dennis Merritt Jones. Awareness builds consciousness. Observe it. Heal it. Make it better for others. Step out of the rut of what about thinking. Right? What about this? What about that? Never mind. What about you? What are you doing within your own consciousness to heal stuff? If everybody just stayed in their own lane, that's the other metaphor about the track, right? And we don't want anybody cutting over. They got to stay in their own lane, even if it's an unjust one. Stay out of that what about it thinking. Because until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our lives, and we'll call it fate. We'll call it bad luck. That's Carl Jung made that observation. Allow yourself the gift of consciously stepping into the sunlight of the Spirit. Drop that rock of resentment, all those little pebbles of the things that I listed and stuff that you could add in there. I mean, that creates a load, man. Just drop it and step into the field of infinite possibilities for good, which is the field of light that is Spirit expressing. That Holmes said that the birth of the soul into the light of Spirit is an awakening to the realization of God and has been with us all the time. There's only one life. That we are sons and daughters of the Most High. That life is God's life. Not in the hereafter, but in the now, in the right now. It is our true nature. That life is perfect. That we are the one and only unique expression of Spirit, and we are here to embody this truth, this truth, and to wake up. Wake up to the divine within. That we are here to stop playing small and to be big for God. That life is our life now. Now, this is a very powerful idea, of one of many ideas that built a movement that became a religion of religious science. And that is what we teach here in religious science, or the science of mind, if you like, and it's a wonderful teaching. a teaching that attracts deep thinkers and people committed to their own spiritual growth and to creating a world that works for all. But what it is not is a social club to hang out with high-minded thoughts and observations of the world around us and condemn others for the problems of the world, for it's their thinking that creates their reality. That this is not a teaching where we get to hide out and pretend that what's going on out there does not bear the fingerprints of our consciousness, because it does. It's our unconscious agreement to race consciousness. This is why we got to heal all those little bits and pieces, because then we truly can come together. I mean, just think about how true that is in your life relationship with the life partner, where both people know that they're enough because their stuff is healed, even with all the warts. But they can love each other fully and completely just as they are. Our business partner, our employees, our government officials, even that other political party. You can see how we can start having deeper conversations because we are healed within our own self. Now, in this time of COVID, this can feel daunting because there's no place to responsibly go physically together. But we can allow ourselves a moment of moral outrage, and we should, to know and understand that it is wrong. It is wrong for African Americans to be singled out the way Breonna Taylor of Kentucky and Ahmaud Arbery of Georgia and George Floyd of Minneapolis were singled out. I mean, if in fact, let's say George did pass a counterfeit 20, he's dead over a counterfeit 20. This is absurd. 8 law enforcement officers over a counterfeit 20. Come on, man. And if it's not available to you, think about how that's wrong. Think if it was Reverend Nancy or Angela or Terry or Salam or young Isaiah or Jasmine. People that we know intimately and love. And we have to make it real. And then together we can create a vision for a day when trust is restored. Because that's really what's happened once again. We as a collective society, that the trust has broken down once again. So that everybody's wary. You have the peace officers scared on one side and people of color scared on the other. And I got to tell you, I don't like cops pull me over either. That's not helpful. It's got me more than one ticket just from my attitude. But it didn't get me beat up. To know and to vision and imagine a consciousness where kindness is recognized and accepted and raised and lifted. Loving kindness and compassion and empathy and truth embraced. That property is respected, even as Dr. King once observed when he said, "Let me say what I have always said, and I will continue to say, that riots are socially destructive and self-defeating, but in the final analysis, a riot is the language of the unheard." So you and I, my brothers and sisters, we don't have to let it get to that. Anymore that when our spouse wants to talk about a money issue, we don't have to wait for the big World War III argument. It's the same consciousness that we're bringing to it. That little stuff is the stuff that we've got to do and to know. There's a power for good in the universe available to you and to me. And we can use it. And it uses us. So let's open our heart and our mind right now and to imagine what a world that works for everyone looks like. Where all are paid a living wage. Where a choice on whether to go to the doctor or not is not a financial decision. Where we recognize and see the children of our community as our children. And so we are willing to fund their schools, even if they aren't our kids. That we understand that there's a collective contribution that we all make together in time, talent, and treasure. That it all begins in consciousness. And to know that we are playing with an infinite power, an infinite presence, an infinite heart, a field of limitless opportunities that we want to make available for everyone. That I want Isaiah and Jasmine to be able to step into a field of opportunities where they are raised to the highest levels of their abilities, just like you feel that about your children and I feel it for mine. This is what it's going to take. We are totally up to the task. We have this teaching. But let's not hide in it. Let's step into it and find ways to connect with each other to create a world that works for all. And thank you for listening and letting me go a little long today. And I hope I wasn't shouting at you the whole time. So let's have a song from lovely Angela.
Will your heart and soul say yes? Will your spirit still say yes? There is more that I require of thee. Will your heart and soul say yes? So just say yes, 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 yes. My soul says yes. My heart says yes. Come on. Yes. Will your heart and soul say yes? your spirit still say yes? There is more that I require of thee. Will your heart and soul say yes? So just say yes. All God wants is yes. Let your soul say yes. Sing it with me. Yes. This time I've made up my mind. Yes. I'll let my heart say yes. Sing it with me. Yes. My heart says yes. My soul says yes. My soul says yes. God's saying to me, there is more that I require of thee. There is
Sacred yes, right here and right now in this moment, we recognize that the power of the living Spirit itself is quickening and is alivening within us, that we are called to this sacred yes, and know that it is being responded to by that same yes, that we step into this field of infinite creativity that is bringing forth from within us the deepest imaginings of a life that works for everyone. That we say yes to love, that we say yes to life, that we say yes to that inner urge and call that is calling us even now to step into the greatest yet to be. The greatest that we have yet to be is available to us right now. That we feel it calling to us. That we are now no longer willing to stay small into our life, but step into the greatest expression of our life. Knowing that in doing so, we are honoring that sacred yes within. That we call that cacophony, that choral group of the sacred yes of all beings into this Om vibration of yes. And we just let it be so. And we know this together by saying yes.
God saying to me, there is more that I require of thee. Will you say yes? There is more that I require of thee. Oh, there is more that I require of thee. And so let your heart and soul say yes.
Yes, thank you. So it is that time where we just take a moment in gratitude to make a donation that helps keep this live stream going, helps keep our center going. So first of all, I'd just like to thank you all for your continued blessing of our center through your mail-in donations and through your bill pay donations, which I have here. And if you would like to make an online donation, it's really easy to do. You can either go to our web page right now and hit this donate button. You'll hit this the website donation page, and if you hit this, you can use your debit or credit card. If you have a PayPal account, pay that way. I'm sure there's some benefit for you that way. And if you're using your phone, it'll look like this. This is a landing page or splash page or whatever the heck they call it these technological days. But you'll get to this, you scroll down, and Jason can explain it all to you. So it'll hit this, you hit this donate button, and that'll take you to this screen again. I'm hurrying, Jason. And then, or you can find it over here. This is PayPal on the YouTube page. All right, so you can find, there's lots of different ways to give. However you give, we are most grateful. And the easiest way for you and for us is through bill pay. Okay, so with that, Jason will take us into our donation song while you do your...
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Oh, Spirit lives and breathes through me.
So let's take a breath together and just join me just a few moments longer, recognizing and knowing that the gifts presented here, by whatever technology or method they arrived, that all of it is a demonstration of consciousness of the individual that knows and knows that it knows that God is our source, our substance, our supply. And so through the generous heart from which these gifts have been given, we, representing the heart of this spiritual community, accept these gifts with deep respect and love, as we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless not only the vision and mission of this center, but anyone connected to this center in any way, from online and beyond, that we're extending this blessing and this knowing for our community here of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them. That we know for our planet as well, that there is a knowing that is calling forth a healing of every kind in the physical realm, in the spiritual realm, in the mental realm, to create a world that works for all, including the planet herself. And so when we know this to be so, we see it demonstrating in ways great and small. This lifts our hearts. We feel a sense of grace and power that allows us to step forward into ways of spiritual living that create a world that works for all. And that's a good thing. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. And Reverend Nancy's going to pray us out. Thank you if you're still with us. Thank you, Rev. And we'll see you on the fellowship call directly.
It is with appreciation and joy that I say thank you, Spirit, for allowing us to experience this time together. Know that each one that has contributed to it, whether it's actually listening or experiencing it by being a part of the group that's presenting it. It is with love and appreciation. We know that the Spirit of life has guided us to this place and this time. And joyfully, we let it be so, as we say together. And so it is, and so be it.
Please join us in singing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as a power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joy.